Okay, my name is William. Okay. Today I'm going to read another part of the writing Ezekiel Chapter 40. Okay. And the 20th year in our captivity, in the beginning of the year, the 10th day of the month, in the 14th year, after the city was submitted, in the selfsame day the hand of the Lord was upon me, and brought me thither. And the visions of God brought he me unto the land of Israel, and set me upon a very high mountain, which was in the frame of a city on the south. He brought me thither, and behold, there was a man whose appearance was like appearance of brass, with a line of flax in his hand, and a measuring reed. And he stood in the gate, and he was a man said unto me, Son of man, behold, with thine eyes and hear, with thine ears, and set thine upon all that I shall shew thee, for that intent I might shew them unto thee. For art thou right hither, declare all that is seest to the house of Israel. And behold, the wall that on the outside of the house round about, and the man's hand, measuring reed, it is 6 cubits long by the cubit of the hand breadth, and he measured the breadth of the building of 1 reed, and the height of 1 reed, and came unto the gate which looketh toward the east, and up the stairs thereof, and measured the threshold of the gate, which was 1 reed broad, and another threshold of the gate, which was in the reed board. Every little chamber was reed long, and one reed broad of the between of the chambers of the 5 cubits. And the threshold of the gate of the porch by the gate of the within was 1 reed. And he measured also the porch of the gate, and 1 reed. And I measured the porch of the gate 8 cubits, and all the posts thereof 2 cubits. Both the gate was inward. And the low chambers was the gate eastward, and was 3 of this side. On that side it was where of 1 measure. And the posts he had 1 measure on this side, on that side. And he measured on one breadth of the entry of the gate 10 cubits on the length of the gate, and 13 cubits. The space also before the little chambers of the 1 cubit on this side, and space like cubit on that side, and little chambers of the 6 cubits on this side, and cubits on that side. And he measured from the gate, from the roof, a little chamber of the roof, another, and this breadth of the 5 between cubits door against door. He also posted 3 square cubits into the post of the court about the gate. And he bought the face of the gate of the entrance, a face of the porch of the gate of the 50 cubits. It was newer windows of the chambers, and their posts that gate round about, likewise of the arches. So likewise of the inward upon each post were. Palm trees. Then it brought me unto the outward court aisle. There were chambers in the pavement made from the court round about. 30 chambers were upon the pavement. And the pavement were by the side of the gates, over against the lane of the gates, and the lower was a lower pavement. And he measured the breadth of the forefront of the lower gate, at the forefront of the inner court, without 100 cubits, eastward and northward. And they gave the outward, and it took toward the north, and he began the length thereof and the breadth thereof. And he and the little chambers thereof. There were 3 on the east side, and on that side, and the poles thereof, arches thereof, and were the measure of the first gate. And the first thereof was 50 cubits, and the breadth of 5 of the 20 cubits. And their windows and their arches and their palm trees, and the measure of the gate, looketh toward the east. And he went up, and by the 7 steps, and the arches thereof were before them. And the gate in the inner court was against the gate, toward the north, toward the east, and measured from the gate and the 800 cubits. And then he brought me toward the south. Behold the gate toward the south. And he measured the poles thereof, the arches thereof according to the measures. And there was, excuse me, and they were 30 windows, and the arches thereof round about like those windows, and length with 50 cubits, and the breadth thereof at 20 cubits. And there were 7 steps that go upon it, and their arches thereof were before him. And they had palm trees on one each side, another that side, and a post thereof. And the gate of the inner court toward the south, and he measured the gate toward of 700 cubits. He brought the inner court south gate, and measured the south gate according to the measures, according to these measures. And the chambers thereof, and the poles thereof, and the arches thereof, according to these measures. And they were windows in, and the arches thereof round about was 50 cubits long, and 5 to 20 cubits broad. And the arches round about were 5 and 20 cubits long, or 5 cubits broad. And the arches thereof joined under cord palm trees, or upon the poles thereof, going up to it had 8 steps. And he brought me onto the inner court toward the east, and he measured the gate according to these measures. And the chambers thereof, and the poles thereof, and the arches thereof, according to these measures, they were their arches round about, and there were 50 cubits long, and 20 cubits broad. So how big this is? How would you keep reading? On the arches thereof toward the outer court, and the outer trees of the on each side. On side they give the 8 steps. Okay, he brought me to the north gate, and measured it according to the measures. And measured it up on the arches thereof, and the round about again it was 50 cubits, and 5 to 20 cubits. And the posts thereof on the court of the east side trees, the posts thereof on the side of going up to 8 steps. And the chambers of the entries thereof by the posts of the gates, and was washed by the burnt offering. And the porch of the gate were 2 tables on that side. And the tables on that side, the was burnt offering, and the sin offering, and the trespass offering. And that side thou goest up to the entry of the north gate, were 2 tables on the other side, which was at the porch of the gate, were 2 tables. Four tables on that side were 4 tables on that side. And so the gate were 8 tables, brought on their sacrifices. And there are 4 tables that stood in the store of the stone of the burnt offering. And the cubit thereof, and the cubit of broad of the cubit high, whereupon the ministers and wherewith of the root stood the burnt offering and the sacrifice. Excuse me. And then within were hooks and broad fastened round about, and the tables of the flesh of the offering. Under the gate of the chambers of singers in the inner court, which is it was the side of the north gate, and the prospect was toward the south, and the one side of the east gate, having the prospect toward the north. And he said unto me, This chamber was prospect toward the south is the priest, the keepers of the charge of the house. The chamber of the pros toward the north is the priest, the keepers charge for the altar, and these are for the zodiac. Zadok was among the sons of Levi, which was near the Lord, a minister unto him. Was a minister of the court of the 100 cubits long, of 100 cubits broad, foursquare, and the altar was before the house. And around the house he measured the port to the east port of the 5 cubits on the side, and 5 cubits on the side, and the breadth of the cubits on the side, and the cubits on that side. Okay, the length of the port was 20 cubits, and the breadth was 11 cubits. He brought me the steps, and they went above to it, and they were pillars, and by the posts on one side, and another on that side. Okay, the name is Ezekiel Chapter 40. Okay, next we read Ezekiel Chapter 41. Okay. Anyway, I have to go right now. Thank you for watching this video. Bye.